I wish they would have asked us those questions when I played.
Well, they did. The Bengals still were getting Fs, by the way.
Yeah, of course. But I'd be like, we practiced at a dog kennel.
Yeah,
like in a cancer infested environment. That's why we're all watching Kenny Anderson to see how long he lasts. And then we could basically say, okay, if he's going to last until like he's 85, then there's a shot for the rest of us.
Cancer-infested environment?
You have it was unbelievable. We had the Cincinnati treatment plant to the north of our practice field.
Okay.
So if the wind was coming out of the north, it would be blowing the treatment smell right over the practice field. We had a garbage can galvanizing warehouse right across the street.
Okay.
So some days you could taste the metal in the air, like the orange metal. I would taste. I don't even know what it was. Then we had a thing called the Mill Creek behind us. And the Mill Creek came down from where Drackett, and Procter & Gamble manufacturing was. And there were questions as to whether or not that creek that was running all the way down behind us going into the Ohio River was contaminated. You know what's going on in Palestine, Ohio?
Yeah.
We were in that kind of environment, it felt like, for 10 years.
Yeah. That's
Spinney Field.
Spinny field,
yeah.
Yeah. You know,
we all got one jock, one pair of socks, one pair of shorts, and a sweat or T-shirt. But then we'd all throw it into the same bin and come back the next day and you have to take your stuff out of there. Sure. I used to bring it home. I said, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, Bengals got an F for players' family treatment.
Yeah, of course.
What do you mean, of course?
It's not shocking. I mean, like,
it's been going on, but this is now 2023.
Some people just are set in their ways. It's you have to live it to understand it.
Yeah.
And to appreciate it.
Sure. And I just figured some of the stuff that you went through was not happening now in 2023.
Well, there was a real minimalist way of doing things. And I think that was Paul Brown's way of making it tough on the players. He didn't want to make it too easy on the players. And that was a thought process. Part of me kind of still agrees with. But then, when I go to the Jets facility and see that facility, I'm like, how could anybody bitch about that?
No, they didn't. They just bitched about staying there too long. That was their big one. Staying there at the facility too long.
I would never leave that place. They got food there. They got breakfast. They got lunch. They got dinner.
Oh, they got bad reviews too on the nutrition. The Jets.
Well, I don't know.
Bad nutrition reviews. We've been in there eating stuff.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I see a lot of fruit all over the place. A lot of healthy options.
I thought so. But they didn't do well in that either. Giants did pretty well.
Sounds like somebody bitching and complaining within the team about not getting the food that they want.
Well, that's exactly what it is. These are all from active players in those organizations who were polled, obviously, anonymously.
I mean, that facility for the Jets, man, reminds me of like a getaway spa.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I feel like they're never going to move. Like when people talk about get the Jets to Queens and that stuff, I mean, that facility is still not that old and it's perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful. But the amazing thing is when I got traded from the Bengals to the Jets, we were practicing in Hofstra. Mm-hmm. When I got to Hofstra and I saw the practice facility, I thought I was in like Shangri-La compared to where I was.
Yeah, and think about now compared to that.
I felt like I was in Chernobyl practicing.
All of a sudden, you grow a tail. Yeah, but they're still getting bad grades to this day, the Cincinnati Bengals.
When it rained, we had no place to go.
Acid rain.
Right, so we would practice underneath a viaduct. And the viaduct would be leaking down, and it'd be like, that's what it felt like. It felt like acid rain.
Yeah. Sounds like Astoria, where WFAN was.
One day you show up and you got a boil on your back, and you're like, they got to lance that thing. And I'm like, where did that come from?
You got a boil lanced?
Yes.
And you think it was because of all the toxins that were out there?
I don't know. Probably had something to do with the mixing of the towels and all the other crap. I don't know. I could have teammates call you up and tell you all about this.
No, I'm
not making this up. I am not making any of this
up. I'm not saying you are. It's amazing to me that you think you got a boil
there was
from a towel.
One of the funniest things, honestly, and this was all done with humor in mind and things of that nature. We would go to pregame meal.
Yeah.
And I would ask the business manager before pregame meal, is it okay if I get 2 baked potatoes and 10 string beans? as opposed to 1 baked potato and 5 string beans. That's how
Sounds like
bad
an
it was.
orphanage. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Please, sir,
Can I have some porridge, please?
God. It blows my mind. I mean, and it wasn't that long ago. It's not like you played in 1945.
But I also told you back in 1985, I'll never forget, we had the first ever all 300-pound offensive line.
Sure. Yeah.
I think Anthony Munoz was like 295 to 290. I don't know if he was over 300. But everybody else on the team at that position on the offensive line was over 300. We didn't have a scale at Wilmington College for those guys to weigh in.
Didn't have a scale?
That went over 300.
Oh, okay.
Right,
Yeah.
so everybody else could weigh in.
Yeah.
But when they had to go to weigh in, they had to go to the local grain manufacturer over at the warehouse. They put them on a grain scale.